All right. So, Skeleton Crew episode 3. I love that Fern and KB are skeptical of who is rescuing them because yes, they've been rescued, but at the same time, he seems a little suspect. So, first off, the fact that he has the Force. And of course, Wim associates the Force with Jedi. Now, he actually was playing with both a Jedi figure and a Sith figure in the first episode. So he knows damn well that there are bad Jedi. So it's odd that he's convinced that he must be a Jedi and he must be good. But he is a Jedi fanboy, so maybe because he has the Jedi robes. But Fern questions him, and KB, even at the end, very much question him. So he takes them out of whatever planet they're on. And when he saw their ship, I thought, oh, he recognizes the ship. But it was just him commenting on the on what the ship looked like. Apparently, he probably thinks it's a hunk of junk. So, it's not that he recognized it. So, he introduces himself as Jodna Norwood. Now, we have 3 names in this episode. We have Captain Silva, we have Jodna Norwood, and then when he finally meets his friend, Kim, that she would help him get the coordinates to Aten, which she initially didn't believe. And I have to admit, when she started peppering the kids with questions, I was starting to question her motives. But it turns out that she's not the bad guy. And she refers to him as Crimson Jack. So now we have 3 names. And God only knows if any of them are his true name. It could be that one of them is. It could be a combination of all 3. It could be something completely different. Because he's obviously a con man. I question whether he's a pirate. You know, like Kim said, he's a scoundrel. So he just basically blends in where he has to. It's possible he's some sort of undercover bounty hunter that, you know, because he basically led the pirates to a stash that didn't exist in the first episode. So he might be on his own side. You know, that he isn't a bad guy, he isn't a good guy, he's just there. So he takes the kids to meet Kim, and Kim is so sweet. And because she questioned him, you know, that he sensed that she was stalling. He figured out, and he immediately tries to shoot her, because that's what you do with friends. And Wim's response is, what's happening? Which, fair. So Kim talks to KB and says, I bet he said go with your gut. Use your head. Now, in some cases, those could be one and the same or complementary. But, so it's going to be interesting how he's going to get out of this. He told them, like I said, his name is Jodna Norwood. Now they know him as Crimson Jack. And he claims that he's lost and that, like them, he's just trying to get home. Which I'm going to call bullshit on. Not because, as Wim thinks, that he's a Jedi, which he finally admitted that he's not by saying, I never said that. So, he's obviously not a Jedi, which you could kind of figure out. He has the Force, and he does understand that everyone possesses the Force, because KB sensed when there was trouble coming. But she had her visor down, so I don't know if it's so much the Force or whatever technology is powering that visor. And so I assume that next week we'll find out more, whether he tells the kids or whether they figure it out. Because at this point, I don't believe that he's lost and that he's looking for... Maybe he is. Like, I think I even suggested in the first episode that he could be a Jedi who ended up in this part of the galaxy and is just trying to survive. He's obviously not a Jedi, but maybe that's still the case. He's just trying to survive. Now, why he would tell someone like him, who seems to be really sweet and very knowledgeable about the galaxy, that his name is Crimson Jack. I mean, it's possible that he was roaming with some pirates before this latest crew, and so she just knew him as that, and he never had a chance to correct her. That's a possibility too, that he truly is lost and he's just trying to survive. It's entirely possible, but considering that there's been so much mystery around him, it's easy to question whether that's the truth. And Fern just, out and out tells him that our planet doesn't have any treasure if that's what you're after. Because they don't know of any such treasure. Wim said it's boring. I think that their dialogue, that it has something to do with the great work, might be onto something. It might not be specifically that, but it is something. So, because these aren't dumb kids. Wim is just very whimsical. He is in his head. He's in these fantasies that he has. So it's entirely possible that it's possible that he's very smart. He's just not devoting his attention to that part of him. So, and obviously the parents are very distraught. I think we saw all four parents. We saw Wim's father, we saw Fern's mother, we saw Neil's parents, and we finally saw KB's parents. It's still interesting that we know next to nothing about her. Now we've seen her parents, but we still know nothing about KB. All we know is that she's very smart, and that, that she wears a visor for some reason, and that she's friends with Fern. So, but we know nothing about her. We know about as much about her as we do, well, maybe slightly more about her than we do about Jadna Norwood. So, I'm very curious where this is going to go. Because, like I said, we know nothing about KB. Obviously, Fern knows plenty because, they're friends. And they're from Atten. Now, I'm very curious. Obviously, we're not going to find out probably till the end of the season what this great treasure is. But we did find out that there were a bunch of jewels of the Old Republic that were hidden, and that the others were destroyed, and that At-Aten is the only one that survives. And now it's just lives on in myths and legends. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Now, Kim told KB, just let me know if you need help. Now, my question is, did the way of how to contact her end up on the cutting room floor? Because we don't know none of us know how KB is supposed to contact her. But maybe because of her visor, that Kim figures, okay, she'll be able to do this. I don't know. So, let's see if there's anything else I wanted to mention about this episode. I definitely do not like how he treats SM-33. Now, the fact that SM-33 has never heard of At-Aten makes me wonder, when was he built? Because if it's true that they're a jewel of the Old Republic, and that they are now only known of in myths and legends, he must have been built once At-Aten became a myth and legend, because otherwise he would have known about At-Aten, and whoever built him obviously didn't want him to concentrate on myths and legends. He wanted him to concentrate on being a pirate droid. So what was the Old Republic? I think I heard 1,000 years ago. So within 1,000 years, SM-33 was built. Now, Jadna Norwood obviously has no love of droids, which, what is it with the anti-hero? Well, he's not an anti-hero yet, but basically anti-heroes that don't like droids. I don't believe Han Solo liked droids. Mando doesn't like droids. Now Jadna Norwood doesn't like droids. It seems like in order to be on the questionable side, you can't like droids. Okay then. So, of course, SM-33 is not taking any of his crap. I was just waiting when the kids asked him, why do they call you Crimson Jack? I was waiting. It looked like there was some recognition from SM-33. And I thought that he was standing up, but no, he was actually standing up defending the kids. But I was hoping that he would have recognized that name. But obviously, since Jude Law is one of the stars of the show, it makes sense that, if SM-33 did tell them who Crimson Jack is, they might give him the heave-ho, even though he's technically the one holding the coordinates, and then they're screwed. So, for the story purposes, to get them home, it would make sense that SM-33 doesn't know the name Crimson Jack. But that then begs the question, what the hell, SM-33? What what pirates did you run with? And when? That you never heard of At-Aten, which was, disappeared a long, long time ago, and you haven't heard of Crimson Jack. Now, he's the one who took them to that port, that pirate port, so he's from the area. He's aware of the area, so I do not know if his being offline for so long destroyed his memory circuits. But the fact that he doesn't know much about anything except how to fly the ship, maybe that's all his builder put into him, is how to fly the ship and nothing practical like At-Aten. Just the planets that are in the vicinity of where they were pirating. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to discuss about this episode. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to in this episode. So with that, I will see you guys in the next... Oh, one more thing. About the parents. That the security droid was basically very nonchalant about, oh yeah, they're past the barrier, so nobody can do anything. The very thing that the parents don't want to hear. So I'm really curious. I think it's going to be a group effort with the kids, Jadna Norwood, and the parents, basically doing an uprising against the great work, because they're going to find out that the great work isn't so great. Because, like I said, a lot of these shows are trying to crap on the New Republic and make them basically not any better than the Empire. So this is going to be the beginning of the parents figuring out why there is a barrier, because they might not even know themselves. I mean, just because the kids don't know doesn't mean the parents don't. They could easily be clueless, because who knows how... It sounds like that barrier's been around for thousands of years, or at least hundreds. And so I think they're going to start piecing together what the great work is. Or they might find out what this great treasure is. So they will unknowingly be working in tandem with the kids and possibly Jadna Norwood, because it's possible he's after treasure. It's possible he's after something else. We don't know at this point. At this point, we can only assume he's after treasure. So, yeah. I think now I've covered everything I wanted to. Yeah. With that, I will see you guys in the next video.